Militarily Speaking, episode 24, Next Move Military.
This episode, we talk with Clint Jordan, director of Next Move Military.
Welcome to Militarily Speaking, brought to you by Armed Forces Bank. This is Tom McLean and my very intelligent co-host, Jodi Vickery, who can be a little bit short sometimes, but she should be on good behavior today,
the first
right?
Part of that's the nicest thing you may have ever said to me.
I think so.
That was pretty kind.
I know.
It goes downhill from here, Clint.
In front of witnesses.
Yeah.
So again, welcome to our show. We're excited to have you listening and learning about Next Move Military. I do want to tell you just a little bit about Clint. Clint was born and raised in Southern California. At the age of 23, he decided there was more to life and joined the Air Force as a firefighter, where for the next 21 years and 10 months, and you could probably tell us the days and hours and minutes, he would hold every position up to fire chief before his retirement in 2017. Clint was active and on the move during his career, PCSing 5 times, got to live in some interesting places, Guam, England, Portugal, California, and Colorado, and deploying in support of major operations and times. Clint's passion to continue to serve led him to real estate after retirement from the military, specifically helping our military clients understand their benefits and the benefits of home ownership. His 21 years of service, multiple PCSs and deployments make him an expert in the field of military relocations, PCS moves, stressors of moving, and there are a few of those, deadlines, VA, family support, and every other little detail our veterans and their families face. His accomplishments of top first-year agent, top second-year agent, top third-year agent, and
top fourth?
I know. We're on track for top agent again this year. Cements him not just as the expert in military home buying, but in every aspect of the real estate transaction. He's an expert in the VA loan process, market analysis, investing, wealth building, and the needs of our veterans and their families. And his vision is to educate as many as possible about their benefits and get them out from under that rent lease umbrella and on their way to financial freedom. His role as director is to help grow the network with like-minded, experienced military realtors, provide resources for the growth and success of their members, and to make Next Move Military the greatest network of realtors, simply dedicated to helping and taking care of veterans and their families.
That's a mouthful.
I like it.
Yeah.
But it's all a good mouthful. So welcome, Clint.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, Tom and I are really, really happy that you've joined us today. We've had a chance to get to know you and your organization over the last several months, so we're really excited to share that knowledge with our listenership. But to kick us off today, it would be really great if you could tell our listeners a little bit about Next Move Military, how it got started, and maybe top of the house, the mission of the organization.
Yeah, for sure. So what we are is a nationwide network of veteran and mil-spouse agents. We've been going at it for about 1 year and 3 months now. It got started. I joined a group with Jordan Stewart and Jason Ross. They had another network. It was called Next Move, and they were primarily with sports and entertainers and professional athletes. So I joined that group thinking, hey, these guys are really good to be connected with and a group of really top level agents. But within, it was a month or two, we noticed there's probably a handful of us that were all military inside of that group that were doing a lot of referrals. And then there was no network like what they had for military people. There's a ton of military networks that are out there, but nothing like what they had set up. So I met with them and said, hey, man, what's the chances of us doing the Next Move Military Network? Like taking what you guys have built, all the platforms. Jason is a marketing guru. Jordan is one of the best business guys in the world and really good at real estate. And they had already built a platform. So I just said, hey, what can we take that? Just dash it or hyphen it and say military beside it. And let's build this thing. So the two of them said, let's do it, man. But like they're busy doing other things. Said, Clint, you run it. You recruit. You're the military guy. You did all the time. You recruit. We're going to make sure all of our platforms, visions, all the stuff that the three of us get together on, that we focus with that moving forward. So like I said, about 1 year and 15 months ago, we started with 10 agents. We're at 248 today.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of growth in a short amount of time.
I know. We were at 200 not too long ago. So 500 is your goal. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, with that goal, that's a good thing, too. Like, we don't have a numbers goal. There's a lot of groups out there on Facebook that, we have 10,000 agents. We have 20. And I'm like, that's a very saturated market. I've been on over 1,100 Zooms in the last year and something, and we have 248 group. So we're selective. The markets are exclusive. We want to make sure that we bring in the right agents into the network to service our veterans. That's our mission, right? Servicing our veterans at the highest level. So we make sure that we don't just bring in 52 agents from Colorado Springs and the veteran gets handed off to whoever. We know the agents. I know them personally. I've interviewed each one, been on an hour-long Zoom with them to get to know who they are and all that other cool stuff.
Well, we had the pleasure, Jodi and I did, of being introduced to you through Michelle Williams at the Armed Forces Bank. We appreciate the fact that we're sort of a financial partner with you. So together we can achieve a lot more. Isn't that something about team or something?
I think so.
Okay.
And with that relationship too, like I'd been approached by many mortgage people and lenders in the business.
Yeah.
There wasn't any like you guys that had kind of the same mission and values as what we were building as a group.
Yeah.
Right. You guys were already on a lot of installations, your Armed Forces Bank, like everything lined up. So when we got introduced to you guys, it seemed like a very easy fit. And we very much appreciate the relationship as well.
Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about the services, if you want to get into the weeds of the services you provide and to whom you provide those services, then let's talk about that with our listeners.
Yeah, sure. So on the top level, right, we're a bunch of realtors nationwide. So you can buy, sell, invest, like we're there for that. That's literally why we built it, was to get tired of referring people to people that really didn't understand the stressors and whatnot of the military. So on its foundation, it was to put a bunch of realtors nationwide that understood all of the processes. And then we started growing and we realized, hey, we have a bigger role. Now let's educate. Let's put people in areas that can just act as mentors and stuff. So we've launched it's another platform, if you will, on an educational front. So you can literally go to our website, and then we have another link for it where we, like if I go to Fort Carson here, I go to one of their out processing briefings or their retirement thing. Mm-hmm. I can literally stand in front of them and say, hey, I'm Clint Jordan. I work with Next Move Military. Not I'm Clint Jordan pushing Keller Williams or Caldwell Banker. We're totally broker neutral. So I don't care who you work for as long as it's the veterans. But I can go to them and say, hey, we've got this cool platform. We've got 248 or 250 agents nationwide. Are you guys looking to be a realtor or looking to invest in Airbnbs or looking to just use your spheres referrals? Because we have agents that are standing by that are literally like mentors. They've been there and done it, and they're just standing by. Like if you're going back to Georgia, let me connect you with Linda in Georgia, who is a veteran or a mil spouse. It's nothing monetarily. You don't need to have to buy or sell. We just want to have people in place to literally educate our veterans. When I retired, I didn't know anything about buying or selling a house. But at 22 years, and I was like, nobody taught me nothing. So I want to, yeah.
And now you're imparting wisdom on other people and being a mentor.
Well, and it's hard too. I mean, as a military family, to jump in and find a house. And I mean, that's a big commitment to make at a duty station where you're only going to be there a couple of years. And then it sort of, for us and our family, it added to the stress when new orders came for a new location, because it's like, okay, can I offload this house fast enough to go find and pick up a new house and so sometimes it's just path of least resistance. Yep. It's easier to just rent or lease or do something like that, especially if you're not super educated in that process.
And that's the educational piece. Again, with all of our realtors haven't been there. They've all, for the most part, used their VA loan and whatnot, but it's easy at that point to sit down with you and say, hey, Jodi, I got you. Been there, done it. We could sell on that end. And in the network, too, it's kind of groovy because if, let's say you're moving from Colorado to Florida, well, in our network, then I've connected you with our Florida agent. So her and I or him, we just work side by side. I'm like, hey, we're getting really close to getting Jodi's house sold here, right? As opposed to having some random realtor in Florida and somebody you found on Zillow or wherever here,
right.
That don't communicate with each other. Now you literally have a network of seasoned agents that are very experienced in the processes to help you guys, because the hardest part about being in the military is literally the stressors that are put on us. And then, you get in and the husband or wife is in processing, the other one's in a hotel hoping they get into a house, with the kids.
Hoping they get some information out of the in-processing brief.
And if the realtor doesn't understand that, then there's no way that they can leverage anything to help them. So like our realtors can, when you come in, we had a guy come in here and there's an extra vehicle at my house for veterans. One of our guys, Jeff, was he at Kansas? Like literally he gave his basement out to somebody because they came in the house that they were going to buy. Something happened on the inspection. Jeff's like, just come live with me, dude. I got room in the basement. That's the level of service. We've all been there, so we understand that.
That's his own Airbnb that he's developed. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. When we look at the website, and I do want to get that in here, nextmovemilitary.com.
But he also mentioned, is there a different access point for education and resources other than nextmovemilitary.com?
Yeah, and we'll get that one out. You can get to it through there, but yes, sir. It's a militarypcs.com is what it is. And we're going to attach locations. So it would end up being like Fort Carson, militarypcs.com.
Got it.
And I could send you guys the basic link to that where anybody can get into it.
Okay. Looking at your primary site, that nextmovemilitary.com, if I am a service member or the spouse and we're getting ready to PCS, where do they begin? How do they is it on your website? Do they fill out a form? How do they initially kick off that process with you?
Super easy question. Like everything that we're doing, we're trying to make it very streamlined. and easy. I did 22 years in the military, so I love easy. Like just tell me what to do, how to do it, and I'll get it done type of deal. So on our website, literally right in the right-hand corner, there's a contact button. Contact, and then there's some questions inside of there. Hey, are you looking to connect with a realtor? Do you want to become a realtor? So there's a little bit of questions. You fill out that information. It comes to myself, Jason, and Jordan. And then we see what that serviceman or woman needs. If it's a realtor, we just find out who's in that area and connect them. Like I said, if they want to learn about Airbnbs, we have a handful of realtors that are very experienced in that. We just connect them with somebody in that market.
I think as you talk about sort of that network, the members, and how they're there to help, and you talked about a little bit of vetting process when we first met you. Mm-hmm. I love the fact that you know, if you stay at 248 realtors for another year because you can't find another one, then you'll stay at 248. You want to make sure that you do the right due diligence and behind the scenes work to make sure that you're aligned and collaborating with the right organizations and the right people. So you want to talk a little bit about that, about the passion you have for making sure you do it the right way?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're absolutely correct. If we go another 6 months and still only have 248, I know we're doing our due diligence and we're interviewing the right people. There's certainly a couple markets that I've interviewed a handful of people in and just wasn't a good fit. Like, we want to make sure that we're bringing in, and I want to make sure that the agents that we bring in are the right agents in that market. And it's important because we close the market down after we have a certain amount of agents. Again, we're not going to flood any kind of market. So it becomes very important for me to make sure that the agents that we bring in are right. They're experienced. They've done it. They've been there. They have the right attitude and personality. Like, that's huge to me, because if I'm sending somebody to Jodi and, you know, she's that, like, you know, what kind of
wait. Why can't that be Tom?
Sorry, I'm sending somebody to Tom, and Tom is a really straight-faced individual. Like, we want some good personality. We want our people to feel, you know, just very comfortable in where they're going. So it's very important to me. Like I said, I've been on right over 1,100 Zoom calls. So if your first question is like, what's in it for me? I'm like, well, you've already missed the point of the group, because what's in it for you is helping veterans. So I just like the conversation.
We're about to talk to Click.
So your Zoom meetings go from 11 seconds to an hour. Yeah. So somewhere.
Yeah. So literally, and a lot of them ask that, like, you know, how many referrals am I going to get? I'm like, that's not what the group's about, dude. Like, thank you. Yeah. You're going through a tunnel. Goodbye. Never that rude. But yeah, so that's literally kind of how it boils down. And, you know, I just get the feel for who they are and what they're wanting to do. And if it's serving veterans, truly, I have 3 agents in my own market. So when people are like, you know, can I be the only one in your market? I'm like, this isn't a network to help Clint get referrals, or I would be the only agent in my own market. But I have 3 here in town because we've got 5 bases. Yeah. So if I could put more, I would. So, yeah.
Before Jodi asks a question, I think one testimonial that's out there, Clint, it speaks to what you're talking about your vetting process. It says, I feel so fortunate to be part of Next Move Military. I know that every single agent in this network has been vetted to provide professionalism, courtesy, knowledge, and insight that I would provide my client. Every agent is either active duty, a veteran, or a spouse. We understand the lifestyle and the hardships of moving. I couldn't imagine a more competent network of agents, and I'm so thankful for each one of them. That's a testimonial out there, and I have one more to say later in our broadcast, but
a little teaser.
Yeah. Just because it sounds like you're doing everything right. So if your own network's saying it, and then there's one from a client's testimonial about someone that you helped that I'll read later. So yeah, you're doing good work.
Yeah. That just kind of gave me chills. I love that. And that's literally what we're trying to build.
Yep.
Those words speak volumes. I know you said you have 240 agents kind of all over the place. Can you highlight for us some of the places that you're located? Are you in all states? I assume you're centered around, obviously where military installations are and people are going to get orders to land. But help us understand a little bit about where folks would find you or find your agents.
Yeah. So again, if you're looking, the best place to find us or to contact us, go through our website. They can certainly call me, which a lot of people do. They see me on our Instagram or whatever, call me direct or message me direct. But yeah, so we started out where I was trying to hit all the major installations, right? The goal was to get a couple agents in major spots. Then we did that for most of them. And then we started picking the smaller installations. When we built it, the thing with me, Jason, and Jordan, I'm like, hey, I think I pegged 58 installations between, all the big ones and some of the bigger reserve stuff. And I told them, I said, hey, I'll get to these guys. Like, this is our goal first. And then afterwards I said, hey man, here's all the other places we need to get to. And now the goal really is we operate inside of our own network, right? Inside of WhatsApp. So the goal now is that I have somebody in every single area that somebody asks that question. So if they go in and say, hey, I need somebody in Newark, New Jersey or wherever, and we don't have anybody, I just ask that agent, I say, give me a day or two. Let me go out and vet somebody. Let me go find us an agent, and I'll fill that gap. So the ultimate goal now is that our agents don't have to turn anywhere else. They just go into the group and say, who is our agent in XYZ, and I have somebody. So most of my time now is spent interviewing agents in those smaller pockets, but we're just about everywhere, Jodi, to be honest. I think we hit, like, Tom, like you're saying, probably 500, and I'll be able to plug every hole in most of the pockets.
So the major military markets are covered, and it sounds like you're kind of doing it on demand.
Yeah. And then, of course, if you reach into the group, all of us know somebody that isn't a veteran, right, but serves in that other area too. So those agents have at least been vetted, but my goal is to have our veteran military spouse, like I said, active duty agent inside of those pockets.
Makes sense.
And I know you're still in the infancy stages of NMM, but from a turnover standpoint, you probably don't get a lot from a realtor standpoint, do you?
No, we've had 10-ish pull out, and they're a couple went to commercial, a couple aren't doing real estate anymore. But yeah, Our turnover rate inside the group isn't. There's so much value in it, right? Like, so much value. And if you're really in it to help veterans, and it's really the only group that's out there like us. So yeah, leaving it wouldn't be the smartest thing.
And I think it'd be really fulfilling too. I mean, you'd pillow your head in really good conscience at night because you've done the good work.
You guys hear about what we're doing next with the service dog and all that stuff?
No.
Ooh, are we going to ask about that? I think we should.
I think he just asked himself about it.
Yeah, ask yourself the question.
Heard about it. Totally cool.
Yes, I'm all about the service dog. Tell us all about it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yes,
bring it.
Definitely. Do you have pictures?
Yeah. But videos are coming. So the goal literally is to be bigger than like a referral, right? It is never really a referral group. It's a network of agents that have been there, done it to help other agents to service more veterans and to educate them. And then I'm like, what else can we do to help grow and to help give back and to do things? That first year was really building, bringing agents on so that we had the market areas covered. And now we're really in that growth, like outside of that. If I get to 300 agents this year, awesome. I know what we're going to be doing though. Each year, Next Move Military is going to, in the beginning of the year, find a service dog and then find a serviceman or woman that needs that dog. We're going to fund and raise, and not personally raise, but like right now we're working with Second Chance Canine. He's out of Nashville, Tennessee. The guy's a Green Beret. He gets rescued dogs and then trains that dog up to match a very specific serviceman or woman. So we're going to go through and sponsor and fund the dog. And then every year, this one should be in September-ish, we'll throw a big event. But the whole event is really to say thank you to our Next Move military agents, but then to give that serviceman or woman that service dog every year. So on a bigger picture, we've stepped kind of past the referral stuff for me personally and Jason and Jordan, and on to bigger and better. Like, how do we promote Next Move military bigger? Like, how do we step out and do more for our veterans? Sure.
No, absolutely.
Does Second Chance Canine vet and determine who gets that dog then? I take it.
Yeah, great question. So they have a list. Like most of the service dog people have like a waiting list, right? So no matter where you're at. So they have 60-ish security forces or special forces people on their waiting list. The very cool thing about them is that they literally do the rescue dog thing too, right? So he will go out and find a dog that was misbred or done whatever. He takes that dog and then does a personality test, like, who is this dog first? And then he looks at his people, and it's not whoever's first or second in line, but who does this rescue dog match up with? So it's even better because now we're saving a dog and then matching them up with a serviceman or woman. So, and then he'll send us like a list saying, hey, here's the 5 people that we think it will. We collaboratively get together and say, all right, cool. We like so-and-so from the Next military standpoint, and kind of, collaborate on who gets them. And ultimately it's his decision based on how that dog is kind of training and come along in those first couple months, where he's like, all right, so out of these 3, it's definitely going to match up with Bob. So then he trains that dog 100% specific to Bob's injuries, Bob's personality, Bob's everything. And then in September, whatever, we walk across the stage and Next Move military and, Armed Forces, like, we presented this dog to the serviceman or woman.
That's awesome.
It's fantastic.
We are of like minds because we partnered with Southeastern Guide Dogs out of Bradenton, Florida.
Very cool.
We had a guest on a podcast episode early on in our recording sessions, and same kind of thing. It might go to somebody that might be impaired vision wise as a child, or goes to a veteran who needs a service dog.
Very cool.
So well done. Yeah.
Thank you. We're pretty proud of that.
And we will need pictures.
We will need pictures.
Pictures and video. For
We'll
sure.
get all that. Like me and Jason owns like a recording studio in Orlando. His whole
That's right.
background is marketing. So me and Jason will run down there, do some quick videos of the dog and stuff, and get it out to everybody. The cool bit too is everybody can just market that, saying, hey, here's what we're doing. And I think it's wonderful.
Yep. No, that's awesome. So I think I know the answer to this, but just to ask the Captain Obvious question, you serve all branches of the military. We see
He likes easy. He likes military easy
I know
questions.
easy,
right?
likes it easy.
Yeah.
Captain Obvious. Here we go.
Here's a softball.
Yes.
Yeah.
All branches of the military. You mentioned reserve a little bit ago. Where can people find you other than the website? A few minutes ago, you mentioned an Instagram site. You got YouTube.
Yep.
I mean, where all can they find you?
So we're big Instagram and Facebook. All of it's Next Move Military. We're getting YouTube up. We haven't really funneled a lot into that, but we'll get that stuff going. So the main two things, like literally find us on Instagram. We post 3 times a week on there, a Military Monday content drop, a Warrior Wednesday thing, and then Financial Friday. And then a lot of our personal videos and all that other cool stuff goes on there.
Excellent.
And yes,
excellent.
to all services, DOD, civilians. And then as you guys know, you guys have a pretty awesome product out there. I just posted something on it today. You're zero down for first responders, doctors, lawyers, and stuff. So we're going to start pushing that too, because like all those guys are heroes, right? Everybody's kind of a hero in their own sense. And of course, we are all veterans and military spouses. But what Armed Forces Bank has now with their product is pretty awesome. And it just serves a different kind of hero. So like I said, I just posted that today. So all of our agents are going to be able to.
Wonderful. We'll check it out.
I think as we specialize in VA lending, and I think as with our purchase of Kansas State Bank, the mortgage division about a year plus ago, that we've got the people that are committed to having the right products available for VA.
Yeah.
And we ought to do that. We are a military bank.
Totally
Yes.
agree.
Amen.
I will not give any plugs to some of your competitors out there, but you mentioned early on in our discussion, Clint, that maybe there's a lot of companies that are out there doing what you do, right? Without naming them, because I don't want to give them any free press. But our 17 listeners, they might know about WeVet or Military on the Move or Military No Stress PCS. I mean, there's some companies in Mill Housing Network. There's places that kind of do what you do, but is there something that you want to say to the audience too that says, there's competition is great, it's healthy. We should have competition. Is there something you want to say about Next Move Military that might be different? I
do believe also that competition is great. And then I also believe that we don't really have any direct competition. Like people in the real estate industry is like,
right.
So-and-so's my competitor. I'm like, are they really? Like, didn't take any of my clients. So I believe like if I get on a Zoom and somebody says, hey, I'm a part of this really awesome network that helps vets, I'm like, awesome. Keep doing what you're doing and keep service veterans. So I think too, a lot of those groups that do, good for them. Like I said, I know that we're different in the sense that we vet, we interview, we're very limited in who we're bringing in. And we want to keep it very personal, intimate inside of our group, because then we know who's in it, right? Like you said, if I'm sending somebody to Tom, like we know it, everybody in the group knows Tom. There's no, 22 people in your market. So we're a bit different in that sense that we're a lot smaller. We do vet, we do interview. We are veterans. But
it also, Clint, feels like family. And I always tell people bank with people. And it's not transactional, it's more relationship. And it sounds like you want to invest in the people with whom you do business, and you hope that reciprocity is there.
Yeah, and that's what I tell them when I bring them in. I'm like, hey, if you're looking for a lead or a referral, then it's the wrong group. If you're looking to help veterans, then you found the right group of people, because that's what all of us, our goal is. We're all successful.
Common bond. Yep.
We don't need a lead. What we do is we need a good group of people that understand veterans. So.
Clint, you don't like to hear your name out loud, but I'm going to say it a few times in this testimonial out there. Okay. Clint. Are you ready? So finding a realtor can be a real sensitive topic, especially when you're a military family moving every 3 to 4 years. While working with Clint, I not only felt secure in all our decisions, but also at ease during the entire process. The guidance of finding a realtor, Allison in Kansas, to help us purchase a home there while coincidentally selling our current home in Colorado was the best decision for our family. Clint and Allison communicated not only with each other, but with us every step of the way. They were available at all hours, very skilled in answering questions and concerns. Clint really helped us find a great team to make the process of selling and buying a new home stress-free. We had a very enjoyable experience and would recommend Next Move Military to any military family. So
that's high praise.
It is high praise. High kudos to you and your whole team and and it's so early on in your business that there's no telling what's happening 5 years from now for you. So congrats on your success.
I very much appreciate that. And I could send you 100 reviews that are exactly like that. So when we get those in, I'm like, it's perfect. Just validation that, like I said, what we're doing is correct. I'm like, it's perfect. And this next move, militarypcs.com thing, that educational platform, once we get that out, total game changer as well. Again, because we are literally an organization that's just standing by to help. So if you're like, hey, I'm getting out, I'm retiring, and I'm heading back to California, I'm like, awesome, Tom, what do you need to do? I'm like, well, I just really want to invest in stuff, but I don't know anything about it. Right. I'm like, awesome. We got XYZ agent in California who does a lot of investing stuff, and there's no connection monetarily. You don't ever need to buy or sell with them. They're just a veteran waiting to help another veteran. So again, one of the differentiators in our group is that again, we're small. We're all in it for the right reasons, which is helping veterans and not making all the money off of them.
Right. That's so great. It just starts it all on sort of a foundation of trust, which when you're dealing with the kind of money you're dealing with to buy and sell a house, that's important for sure. Before we wrap, Clint, just want to give you a chance to say, is there anything we haven't asked you? I mean, you volunteered the service dog, which is awesome. Any other gems like that we haven't thought to ask you about or wouldn't know to ask you about?
I own a CrossFit gym. Did we tell you guys that?
No, but you want to put
I think I remember that. Yeah.
I know you're certified as an instructor, right? So you own your own gym too.
Yeah. So when I first retired, we
is he putting another shameless plug in for something?
Hey, as long as he doesn't make me do CrossFit, we're fine.
Well, we're flying you guys out next week as a sponsor.
We're good. We're good. I got a bad leg. Something.
I've got a hangnail. I can't do it. Yeah.
Stubbed a small pinky toe. Yeah, we own CrossFit Bonnie and Clyde, me and my wife here. And the plug is that we're like 95% military veterans. We literally built it.
Awesome.
And then the goal for that, we came out of COVID and bought our own commercial space. So we got like 8,000 square feet. And then the goal since day one literally is be able to fund the gym through real estate and then offer it for free to veterans and all that other stuff. So we're getting to that. We're getting to that point now. We give a free year membership if you use us as a realtor. But the ultimate goal since day one is literally to be able to just open the gym to veterans and then let real estate do everything on it.
Love that. Love it.
Next Move Military is Next Move Clint, because that's another good thing you're doing for our veterans. So we appreciate you.
Yes, sir. The service dog's a big thing. We kind of just solidified that, and I got everything set up to push forward with it. So we really haven't spoken a lot about that at all to most people. We wanted to make sure that we got it all worked out.
This is kind of like the big reveal then.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah, the big reveal day. I didn't even know it was coming out.
It's like blue or pink confetti coming out, or it's a different kind of reveal.
My dog should have jumped in the pot. Should have had it.
I know. I was wondering when that barking happened earlier if it was the service dog about to make its appearance.
Probably was. Well, Clyde got mad. Got a little bit jealous.
Yeah.
Yep, that's probably it.
Yeah, I know. I think we covered everything, right? The network it's special to everybody that's in it. And then by the reviews, you see it's special to everybody who's used it. So we get those reviews and it just validates that everything that we're building and doing is correct. The agents that we have in it are right. So a huge success story. I said everything in the group is going phenomenally well, straightforward. And again, me, Jason, and Jordan meet just about weekly to focus on like the vision, like how are we moving forward, how we provide more value into our agents, because then it services more veterans properly. Right. Like that's three of our goal. I tell everybody that I bring in, the power of this group is that you have the three of us leading it, right? And all of us have a strength in a different field. And then we all come together and collaborate and say, hey, man, what's the next step? Like, how are we serving more veterans? How are we providing more stuff to our agents inside the group to service more veterans? It's literally what makes the group the strongest. And of course, the agents that are in it. But
a good recipe for success.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, it's that time.
We're at the end of the show, which is cheerful. Yeah.
Clint may be grateful. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, I can do this all day. I can do it all day.
So we want you to hang on for just another minute, if you will. We like to play a game we call the Military Minute. It's Tom's favorite thing.
It is.
So for those of you playing along at home, in our last podcast episode, we had a guest from the Pat Tillman Foundation, you might recall, Tom.
I do.
And the Military Minute question from that podcast was, what is TLI? And so if you responded on our social media post when we dropped the podcast and said
Tender Loving Inc.
No, Tillman Leadership Institute.
Sorry.
Way to think on your feet. Then you might be selected to win $50 for yourself in the form of a gift card and $50 for a charity of your choice. And so fast forward today, shockingly, the Military Minute question is about Next Move Military. So Clint, you have to hit mute, whatever you need to do to not answer this.
Let your dog answer it.
You can't answer this and get $50.
You cannot answer this. No.
I'll just give it back to our charity. I'll give it to
Yeah.
It's kind of a softball for those on the podcast right now, but who is one of the very special partners of Next Move Military? You can't answer either, Tom.
Nope.
So next time when you see this podcast drop, Next Move Military, and you know the answer to that, hit us up in the comments and drop your answer. And then after that, you could also be eligible to win $50 for yourself and $50 for a charity of your choice.
And charity of your choice is any choice you want, right?
That's what choice
but
implies.
But it has to be a military organization, right?
It can be a charity of your choice. There's not a lot of fine print here. I'd love for it to be a military.
Again, like I've said in every podcast, you have a bad attitude.
I do.
Yeah.
It's pretty black and white.
It's
Yeah. Don't jump the Jodi bandwagon. There's no room for that.
Yeah.
Sorry. I thought I was on mute. I apologize for that. I thought I was muted.
Bring out the best in me, Tom. What can I say?
If you enjoyed today's episode like I didn't, go out to afbank.com and subscribe to the show. Also, make sure to rate us, leave us a comment on your favorite podcast platform, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. You know, Clint, we made it to the big time, right? We made it to YouTube. That's got to help.
Super fancy.
That's what we're trying to get. We're just chasing your guys' footsteps everywhere you guys go, Tom. I'm like, let me.
Yeah, we're going to put a star out front on the sidewalk for Tom, like his own little walk of fame thing.
Yeah.
Clint, well done.
Great to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to meet you guys.
Thanks for all that you will do and continue to do really well. So thanks.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys.
All right. Thanks so much. Don't forget the dog
Thank you.
pictures.
Copyright 2022 Armed Forces Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All non-Armed Forces Bank owned apps, websites, company names, and product names are trademarks or registered trademarks of their respective owners. Their mention does not imply any affiliation with or endorsement by Armed Forces Bank of them or their products and services. They are merely used as examples of the many available apps, companies, and websites that offer similar services. Before using any app or website, you should carefully review the terms of use, data collection, and privacy policy. Apps may have an initial cost or in-application purchase features. This information is general in nature and is not intended to be legal, tax, or financial advice. Although Armed Forces Bank believes this information to be accurate, it cannot ensure that it could change. Statements or opinions of individuals referenced herein are their own, not Armed Forces Bank. Consult an appropriate professional concerning your specific situation and respective governing bodies for applicable laws, such as IRS.gov for current tax law. Armed Forces Bank, the Armed Forces Bank logo, and the Militarily Speaking logo are registered trademarks of Armed Forces Bank.